A civilian van isn't the worst possible vehicle for attacking dug-in Ukrainian troops. That dubious honorific probably belongs to the humble bicycle. But that doesn't mean riding a van into combat won't get you killed. On or before Thursday, a squad of Russian infantry piled into the open bed of a UAZ-452 Bukhanka and sped over an open field toward Ukrainian lines in western Russia's Kursk Oblast. They didn't get very far. A Ukrainian first-person view drone zoomed in. The Bukhanka had an anti-drone cage over its cab but not over its bed. The drone exploded among the passengers, immobilizing the van. One survivor sprinted away. Another Russian, apparently wounded, dragged himself from the burning wreck. It wasn't the first 3-ton Bukhanka the Ukrainians have targeted in 34 months of hard fighting since Russia widened its war on Ukraine. The analysts at Oryx have counted 122 destroyed, damaged, abandoned, and captured UAZ-452s. But most of them were hauling supplies or performing some other support role miles from the front line. Bukhankas as assault vehicles are a fairly rare phenomenon, but one that could become much more common as the Kremlin grapples with a growing shortage of armored vehicles. On average, across the 34-month wider war, the Russians have lost around 10 armored vehicles every day. Since a year-long Russian counteroffensive escalated this fall, however, the loss rate increased a lot. On one catastrophic day in September, analyst Andrew Perpetua tallied more than 180 damaged, destroyed, and abandoned Russian vehicles and heavy weapons. No one outside of the Kremlin knows for sure exactly how many new armored vehicles Russian industry produces every month, and exactly how many older vehicles the Russians can recover from long-term storage. But the combined number is too low to keep Russian regiments and brigades fully equipped. It's not for no reason the Russians go on the attack in golf carts, motorcycles, and now bicycles and vans. The consequences for the unfortunate Russians who swap armored fighting vehicles for unarmored vans can be severe. One UAZ-452 that managed to survive a drone strike later ran over an anti-tank mine recently. The mine was lying in water, which suppressed the resulting blast. But the van was still a write-off, and one passenger lost his legs. "That's how our heroic cars die," a former passenger mused. Expect more such heroic deaths as Russian forces increasingly rely on non-military vehicles for military tasks. In early October, Russian regiments and brigades in western Russia's Kursk Oblast launched a powerful offensive aimed at eliminating the 250-square-mile salient that Ukrainian forces carved out of the oblast in early August. Incredibly, the outgunned Ukrainian brigades in Kursk aren't just holding, they managed to organize a counterattack on Wednesday. Tanks and other forces from no fewer than 3 units, the 17th Heavy Mechanized Brigade, 21st Mechanized Brigade, and 80th Air Assault Brigade, reportedly advanced into the southern outskirts of Darino, a hamlet in the no-man's land on the southwestern edge of the salient. Apparently redeploying from its previous position around Novi Put, 25 miles to the west, the 21st Mechanized Brigade rolled at least one of its few remaining German-made Leopard 2A6 tanks into Darino. Ex-Soviet T-64s, or T-72s from the recently reorganized 17th Heavy Mechanized Brigade, joined the attack. Russian drones swooped down, damaging at least one tank from each brigade. The crew of the Leopard 2A6 was observed bailing out of the burning vehicle. Firing back, the Ukrainian 80th Air Assault Brigade knocked out at least 2 Russian BMD fighting vehicles, apparently from the 83rd Air Assault Brigade. Darino lies along the right flank of the Russian force, a quartet of airborne and marine regiments and brigades sustaining the main thrust of the Russian offensive in Kursk. Shrugging off serious losses, the Russians have been sending assault group after assault group along the road through Zeleny Shilak, 4 miles north of Darino. Water obstacles stretching between Darino and Zeleny Shylok limit the Russians' space for maneuver. If the Ukrainians can hold Darino, they could close off secondary assault lanes for the attacking Russians and further channel them into the kill zone around Zeleny Shylok. It's important not to overstate the scale of the Ukrainian assault on Wednesday. Elements of 3 brigades advanced at most just a few thousand feet and may not have stayed. That the Ukrainians were able to counterattack at all is remarkable, however. Overall, Ukrainian troops are outnumbered 3-1 in Kursk. That's not an unfavorable ratio as long as the Ukrainians are defending from fortified positions, and the Russians are attacking along open ground. In shifting to the attack, even briefly and on a small scale, Ukrainian forces rolled the dice. If it's true they advanced into Darino and remained there, their gamble may have paid off.
Огонь, да! Выстрел!
Один осколок. Навести, зарядить. Орудие! Выстрел!